Okay. Thank you. My name is Aviram Zrahia. I'm a researcher at the ICRC, and also I work for a company called Juniper Networks in the network security space. In a way, my session is an elaboration to the comment made by Professor Ben Israel earlier today about AI versus AI. I would like to speak about implementations of AI or practical implementations of AI in the cybersecurity world. Mention some terminology and conclude with some maybe an insight into the future. So let me start with the following observation, which I'm sure all of you will agree with. We live in an era of digital transformation. Data is the most valuable asset that we have, according to The Economist, and there are a lot of statistics supporting this claim. One that I found interesting was that 90% of the data that we have today was actually obtained in the past 2 years. That's an outstanding number. To make use of that data, we need to analyze it. It is called big data analytics, and it is all about gaining some knowledge from those large amounts of data and doing it in the context of the business to serve a purpose or to ask a question which is relevant to the business. For my presentation, the business would be cybersecurity defense or cybersecurity offense, depending on the perspective. So here's the question. Can we do something practical in cybersecurity defense with AI, or could that be used by attackers to achieve their goals? Obviously, the answer is yes, and I'll give you some examples in the following slides. Before I do that, I'd like to ask a question. Obviously, I will answer it myself. And the question is, why do we see this growth in using analytics now? And in my opinion, there are two answers to this question. The first one would be that the technology is affordable and available. Just imagine what anyone would have to know to do in order to obtain the amount of computing infrastructure required to analyze big data in the past. Buy everything, set it up, deploy it, etc. It's costly and takes time versus the ability today just to consume distributed computing as a service from cloud players like Amazon or Microsoft, for example. And the second answer has to do with the progress of academic research, specifically on those technologies, analytical technologies, such as AI, machine learning, deep learning, that I will mention in a bit. And that progress, you can actually feel that progress when looking at personal assistant engines such as Apple Siri or Amazon Alexa. The accuracy, the amount of progress that could be seen on those tools is actually showing how the whole industry progressed, the academy and the industry. So very briefly, just mentioning the buzzwords around those analytic technologies. So you might hear three buzzwords: AI, deep learning, and machine learning. You could see on the left that they are sorted by the level of complexity and intelligence they have. So AI is the most intelligent one, obviously more difficult to obtain. And machine learning is more a basic technology, less complex, easier deployed today. What I would like is really mention, machine learning is the notion of machines learning by themselves. Deep learning is kind of a manipulation of machine learning, imitating the way a human brain works, and artificial intelligence is really the highest level. And this is machines doing what we call or consider intelligent. They are all computer science technologies, and you could see that they are also subsets of each other. So what is needed to do this right? Basically, there are three areas that need to collide or to exist together to make data science properly. One of them is get the data right, use coding and computer science or hacking, sometimes it's called, to get the data right. There's a saying called garbage in, garbage out, which means if you don't get the data right, your results are not going to be correct. The second one is do the analysis properly. For that, you need a PhD. You need a math or statistics or stats expert to do that. And the third aspect is domain expertise. So if we are asking questions about cybersecurity, we might as well have a cybersecurity expert within the team building this engine, so he can ask the right questions and also interpret the answers, understand what the answer really means. So let's take a look at two implementations of AI or machine learning, to be more basic, in the cybersecurity world. One of them would be for detecting malware in files. So you might also be aware that it's an ongoing arms race between attackers and defenders. The attackers hide or better hide malware in files every day, and the defenders struggle to find whether those files are malicious or not. The latest, hottest technology is using machine learning to do that. And in a way, it is like face recognition. So the way face recognition roughly works is that there are features in the face that help machines identify faces. And files also have features inside them. There are a lot of ways to extract those features from files, and machine learning technologies can do so and then determine with a high probability whether the file is malicious or not. So that's the first implementation. Second one is really interesting. As you all know, the web traffic is becoming more and more encrypted. Basically, it is used to enhance security, enhance confidentiality, privacy, but that makes it very difficult to any security engine to understand what is going on with that traffic. So just to share some statistics, recent Google statistics I've read says that 81 of the most popular websites in the world, from the most 100 popular websites in the world, is encrypted by default. Google plans to announce on their browser every unencrypted website as unsecure. So they will change the definitions of their browser. So we are really going towards a fully encrypted internet society. And also, as Professor Ben Israel mentioned, there are ways using machine learning to understand whether a file or traffic is malicious or not without decrypting it, without looking what's really inside. He mentioned that in the context of keeping the privacy, but it's also very important in the context of keeping performance, because decrypting and encrypting is really a painful task to any machine. Let's have a quick look at the other side. The other side is all about, manipulating machines. And the example I've taken here is from another discipline or from another world, but it is the same principle, or it could be done in the same principle in the cyber world. It is about using the rules of the machine against itself. In this case, this is an autonomous car. It was tricked to get into this circle. As you can see, the signs of the road allow it to get in, but they don't allow it to get out. And there's no the machine doesn't understand the context. It doesn't understand that the parking lot is fully empty and available. Every 5-year-old kid would understand that, but the machine doesn't. So this is, in a way, this is a black box attack. This is without any manipulation, without penetrating the machine. It was actually tricked. So same principles could apply also to different security engines. The other example I have is about fooling people, not fooling machines. So as you all know, social engineering or manipulating, the art of manipulating people is an important and effective attack vector, or at least a way to obtain targets. So what we see, according to researchers and obviously also in tools, is that machine learning is starting to play a role here in obtaining targets, in finding the right people with the right amount of money, with the right information about them, so any attack could manipulate, or a smart attack could manipulate them better. And this is will probably be always the weakest point, the human beings. So let me have a quick look into the future and ask the following question. So we've seen AI used as or subsets of AI used as a technology for defense, and it could be used as offense. And the question is, can it be more than just a technology in the cyber world? And I'll let you know, or I'll share what I mean. If we take the analogy of the car, the autonomous car, we all know that since Carl Benz introduced his first car in 1886, for, let's say, 120-something years, basically nothing much has happened. So the car, the engine is faster, and the windows are nice, and the car is quieter, but there's still a wheel, there's a driver, he needs to look everywhere, he has a brakes, he has a gas. Nothing really happened until this came in. So this is a disruptive technology. Autonomous car changed the world in terms of automobiles. So the question is, can AI do the same for cybersecurity? Can it be more than just a defense or attack technology? So let me offer a possible future. Obviously, I don't have my crystal ball, but it is a possible future. And the future is called the self-driving network. It is all about the infrastructure that we use, the digital infrastructure that we use, computing infrastructure that we use, acting with an intelligent entity, AI entity, to defend itself, to recover from failures, to automatically adjust resources, etc. So without getting into too many technical details, there are some technologies today in the industry that are starting to move towards this direction, and this is a possible future. I think it's also a very, or could be a risky future, and many people ask the question, do we really want the machines to take over? Do we really want AI to become so dominant in any area? But let's talk about cybersecurity as an example. And I'd like to present 2 points of views, and with that, to conclude. They are obviously opposite to each other. One of them is the point of view of Professor Andrew Ng. He's a former professor in Stanford University. He's also the co-founder of Coursera, the online academy website and institution. He basically says AI will be like electricity. So when he says electricity, he means it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be transparent to us, so we don't really feel that, we don't pay attention. It's all over us. And it's going to be benign, so it's not going to be harmful. It's going to be the new electricity. So that is one point of view. Many people share that point of view. But there are others, really serious people, like Elon Musk, for example, that really see in AI the demon. I don't know if you heard or read some quotes from Elon Musk. He actually called AI, he actually said AI is worse than nukes. He called AI the demon. And there are theories like the technological singularity point theory that claim that in a possible future, a machine will run into a self-learning mode that will eventually make this machine smarter than humans, and beyond that point, nobody knows what will happen. So I don't know what's going to happen, but those are the 2 points of views, and we are looking forward as the industry and academics, and also as a society, to see what will bring us the future. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time, for the opportunity to speak here, for staying late. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ophir. And well, Thank you for all the speakers for this mind-boggling day. I think we heard so many new ideas and approaches. We understand, I think we can conclude two things from this. First of all, we are in the future already, we are living in the future. And the second is that we are not, hopefully, middleman, not the man in the middle. I hope we all know that there is a huge distinction between these two. We are a middleman in this world of trying to connect technology to our jobs as representatives of our countries. We connect people, and what we do here is the same. We connect technology to our challenges, and you heard from different angles how this works. We are here because we want to protect our societies, and we want to protect democracy, and we want to maintain the way we live. We've lived in the past, we want to continue that in the future, but we need to understand what technology really brings to us. And so with these brilliant ideas that researchers that are all practitioners from the Tel Aviv University brought to us, I'd like to leave you with the idea that the upcoming conference in June will be this, but much bigger. And we'll be all looking very much forward to having your contribution and your representatives join us there, and looking forward to sharing our ideas there and to the discussions there. So thank you very much, and have a great day. Thank you.